Is Ben Simmons holding the Sixers back?
Tell him how you really feel, Stephen A. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say, I hate pointing blame because basketball is absolutely a team sport, and the 76ers collapsed as a unit. But I will be critical of decisive moments within the game, and Ben Simmons is at the crux of that. First of all, I'm a big Ben Simmons supporter, y'all. He is so talented. He can affect winning in a diverse number of ways. That's why, for me personally, if Ben Simmons doesn't want to have an identity as a three-point shooter, fine. If Ben Simmons doesn't subscribe to aggressively hunting or even forcing, finding shot attempts for himself within a game, okay. But then he's got to hold up his end of the bargain as being a guy who can deliver what needs to be done for his team to win. And in Game 5, the assignment was at the free throw line. Going 4 for 14 from the free throw line is just unacceptable. And guys, I want to just highlight one key moment. This is the moment for me. 3 minutes and 31 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Hawks do a hack-a-bend. They put Ben Simmons at the free throw line. He misses both. Immediately, quick turnaround, they come back down and score. So Doc had to make a decision, and he had to get Ben up out of there and take him out of the game. And then this is where I think things really changed. So now Ben's out defensively. Trae Young scores 2 times in a row. Then on offense, in the half-court set, the 76ers look purposeless. Tobias Harris coughs it up, turnover. And I think those moments, that was catastrophic. In the last minutes of the fourth quarter, runs come and go, but to stop the bleeding, that was where you truly actually saw the value of having Ben Simmons on the court. Whether he's scoring or not on offense or on defense, his presence matters. And he couldn't be on the court because he can't make free throws. So that was a letdown for me. I'll point out one more decisive situation. Another guy I'm a huge fan of, Seth Curry. Seth Curry was brilliant on offense. It was a clinic, 36 points. I just don't know if those 36 points were worth it. If you think about how the catalyst to the comeback, the spark that lit the fire was Lou Williams catching on in that fourth quarter. And it was absolutely at the expense of Seth Curry's defense. In fact, there was definitely a moment in that fourth quarter where whoever had Seth Curry on them, they were working to get him on somebody, was going at him and attacking. And it was these buckets, Lou Williams catching fire, 13 points in the fourth, 15 in the second half, where that's where the belief, the motivation, the momentum, the understanding that the Hawks felt they could come back from being down 26 points in this game. So I would be critical of that defensive matchup. And these were the moments where I think things changed for the 76ers.
And here's what I'll say about Ben Simmons. I don't think he's holding them back at all. We can have this conversation all day and night. They should be up 3-1. It's not because Ben Simmons they're not up 3-1. It's because of the defense. They let Atlanta get them. They let them off the hook. And you can't do that. Ben Simmons is who he is. You knew who he was when you drafted him. You knew he couldn't shoot.
What about
you
when
knew
you
he was
paid
a
him?
great defender. You decided to pay him, Charlie, because you like what you saw, which is defender. He's going to get you about 16 points a game. He's going to get you about 9 assists. He's going to be about a 58% shooter from the field. He's not going to take very many shots. How many times are we going to see Ben Simmons miss a dunk? Not often. He missed one last night. And so everybody goes, oh, Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons, Ben Simmons. Be careful what you wish for with a talented player. Now, let's remember, he's only been a pro for 4 years. This is Doc Rivers' first year having him. Did they really have a true offseason with him to get him to build that confidence on how to shoot the basketball, not be afraid? And on top of that, the coaches have got to be able to manage the late fourth quarter to understand it's hack-a-bend time. He's got to learn how to knock down maybe one out of the two to slow things down. And so if they can get him to do that, how many teams would line up to trade for Ben Simmons right now in the NBA? Many. But you're giving away an asset that has value when you're doing that. I think the Lakers would love to have him. You go back in history and you think about it, Allen and Charlie, Magic Johnson couldn't shoot the basketball early in his career. He was just dynamic passing and doing other things. But then eventually he developed the shot and the rest was history. So I'm looking forward to Ben Simmons at some point developing a constant offensive threat so people can get off his back.
the basic fundamental of basketball? One basic fundamental. You know, like the one thing that you need to do to play the game. You know,
You're supposed to hit free throws.
Not free, just shoot the basketball.
Yeah, shoot the basketball.
Like it's a basic fundamental. It's
but
not like
Alan,
I'm asking you to make a one-handed catch in the end zone.
It could be a
It's
mental
basic
thing right now, no, Alan.
Fundamental.
It could be a mental thing, no. It could be a mental thing.
Is it?
I feel like the point where I feel like we're Ben Simmons, and we talk about Ben Simmons a lot. Let Ben Simmons have the identity he wants to be. Let him be the player he wants to be. I don't think we need to force Ben Simmons to shoot more shots or become a three-point shooter. But he does have to hit free throws. My argument is he needs to make free throws. This was a game that, you know, runs happen, okay? There's going to be a situation where someone throws a punch and someone responds. That's fine. The 76ers had an opportunity to close out the game, and Ben Simmons had to do it at the free throw line. That had little to do with him taking more shots. It's just him stepping up there. And because he couldn't hit free throws, he couldn't be on the court where he was clearly needed to help defensively stop Trae Young, or offensively at least keep this offense moving.
One free throw. All I need you to do is hit one, man.
Listen. You brought up Magic Johnson, who early in his career wasn't a great shooter, but he could score. But he also could make free throws. So that wasn't a major issue for him. It's just he wasn't a great perimeter shooter. But all of this, forget all of it. He is going to absorb pressure. He is going to get criticism. Why? I don't pay you $100 million to help me win. I pay you $100 million to get me wins. That's why you're a max player. That's why you're an all-star. That's why you're on the court. I saw you in the first half do a chase down block on Trae Young. You didn't give up on the play. I understand switching happens. I know it's hard to defend that screen and roll. They're very good at it. But your effort was there in the first half. It was in the second half. Ben Simmons' problem, maybe it is mental, Key. Maybe he does check out. Maybe that's the big part here, is he needs to start assuming accountability and responsibility for his team winning and losing, and show me you care about that $100 million that I just gave you.